So yeah, welcome everyone to the channel. I am Daswilly Cool, and today I thought I would take some time, just while I'm doing a bit of gameplay here, to talk about why I still play Star Citizen, what kind of draws me in, and what keeps me playing every day. So it started as a Kickstarter, right? And the Kickstarter initially said so much. What people are now saying are lies and scam citizen, things like that. This was, what, 12 years ago? I think it was 2012 when the Kickstarter first went live. So people had this thinking of, okay, it's going to be out in 2 years. Brilliant, no problem. That's going to be great, and let's buy this game. Let's buy into this game, buy loads of ships and things like that. And people spent thousands of dollars, thousands of pounds on this game to be completed. I play a lot of board games, and I've actually purchased a few board games from Kickstarter to be put together and created, and a lot of them do actually happen, but some of them you do put down your money initially and you can lose it if that company tries to invest in funds and things like that. And I'm not massively sure how Kickstarter works in that sense, but what happens if the company doesn't get off the ground? What if they can't fulfill their promises and stuff, you know? Yeah, so I mean, the Kickstarter, I'm not massively sure when that money would have been taken, if I'm honest, because to my mind, if it wasn't delivered, then it wouldn't have been taken. So I don't massively know how all of that played out. What I do know is Star Citizen at some point showed demos and things like that, and confirmed, you know, that it was going into like alpha testing and things like that, and that all came to pass. Right, we're playing the game. This is the alpha. We are playing the game, and we got something right now. This is where the argument starts. So what has actually happened throughout the course of this campaign, throughout the course of this game being completed? From time to time we get updates. Now this is one of the things that kind of is similar to other games, but let's take a game like, I don't know, any game really. Any game that comes out, you don't get to play it until it's out, right? You don't have that direct link with developers. You don't have a direct kind of, this is what we'd like to see. Then the developers kind of look into it and actually create these things. We also don't get that kind of update, however slim, or however, this is what we'd like to do in the future, and then it never comes to pass. We don't get that from any other game. This, I would say, is one of the big things that differs with Star Citizen and every other game that is out there. And this is one of the reasons why I keep coming back. Now, it's also one of the reasons why I am very slowly getting into my head that this game will never be completed. I said at the top of the title here is basically, I'm not talking about CitizenCon. However, I must kind of refer to it every so often, because at CitizenCon we were told what the 1.0 actually means, right? And what it means is they want to get to a point where they are happy to let the game out to, I want to say the masses, but it's already out to the masses, right? If people want the game, they can buy the game and they can play the game. That's what this is now. But what 1.0 is being released to the masses, where they say it's not even, this is what I can't understand, because they've said we will advise you of what 1.0 is, but it's just another milestone. It doesn't actually mean anything in terms of, is it going to console, is it going to this, is it going to that, because it's just another milestone that they've basically said, right, this is one of the founding sets of gameplay that we definitely want to have in the game before we say that it's we're happy to call it done, almost. But in the same breath, they're also saying like, this game's never going to be done. They had that 1.0 presentation and they said that this is the way we're going, this is what we're doing, these are the end goals, as it were. But then they finished that off saying that this doesn't mean the end, this doesn't mean that we are not going to continue. We will not have a Star Citizen 2. We are just going to keep continually updating the game. So where does it actually stop? And again, there's not been any game like it in the past that actually does that has this continual update to the game at all. So it is extremely unique in that it's just going to get patch after patch after patch, and it's not just the same updates but better or anything like that. You know, it's actually new content every time. It's not Fortnite, you know. It's not a let's give it new skins, let's give it newer fun looking weapons that essentially do exactly the same thing, right? It's not a new style of hammer that I mean, I don't know enough about Fortnite, to be honest, to actually talk about it like this, but at the end of the day, we are getting feature after feature, and they are brand new things, you know. We've already got so much in the game, and I can remember when salvaging wasn't a thing, you know. So there's been these times in the game where I can fly around, I can kill bounties, I can pick up deliveries and things like that, and I know that one day we've been told, this is one of the complaining points, obviously, is that it's always someday soon you'll be able to do this, and that is half the problem, half the battle, half of the argument with Star Citizen, is that there's not these set dates on when they're actually going to deliver on this stuff. But that is system development, that is game development. And one of the other things that we can be sure of is that if there's any like newer sort of ways of doing things, then we will also probably have loads of updates to the actual systems and things like that as well. So it's forever going to be updated. That's just the way it is, you know. So that is one of the things that keeps me coming back to Star Citizen, is that it's that longevity of they're going to make things better, and they're always making things better. They're always striving to better the game in some way or another. So it is absolutely unique in the way that it does that. There's also the ships that keep you coming back for more as well, right? With every new gameplay loop that they introduce, there's more ships that come with it. And that will never stop happening either, you know? The ships themselves will always get updates. They will always get better, again, with updates that keep coming. It's going to be the way of things that they have to update the ships to get them to be able to do all of these fun things that they've introduced, you know? Like all of the component repair as a prime example, you know? They bring in components that you can actually fix and repair, so naturally they have to give the ships the components and things that you can repair. Well then, yeah, in the future you're also going to have a similar thing where they're going to update the components even further with additional working parts of those components, you know? And this is, as I say, this is one of those things that is going to be a really good thing in the future, because they're going to have new tech that works better. They're going to have faster tech. They're going to be able to apply things like you know, how quickly the system reacts to things in terms of like graphics and all of that sort of stuff. So it really is important that they keep on top of these things and that they don't just stop updating, because as soon as they start updating, that's when the game goes downhill. And because they're actually adding in new content, new gameplay, there's always something else to play. There's always something new to mess about with. And I found it with a lot of the streamers as well. Like, as long as starcitizen is being updated and is not finished, they still have a job, right? So I get it. There's a lot of people that are unhappy with the game. They think it's scam citizen, but this is the way of things now. And CIG are in such a good place at the moment with people actually spending the money on the game and getting so many people on a daily basis, new people interested in the thing, because they've got these new features coming every single day. Or I want to say every single day, every single patch, you know? So it really does help. So that's like one of the main reasons is that I want to keep playing, is because it's unique. It's constantly being updated. There's always newer things in the platform, newer, you know, MFDs, the engineering, the graphics itself. It's always getting better. If you look at some of the earlier days, and you know, some of those earlier images and videos and stuff like that streamers have put out about the gameplay and stuff, yeah, some of it doesn't look as good as today. Another one of the things that keeps me coming back is, keep talking about content, is the actual gameplay itself, right? The NPCs have got so much better over time. The missions have got so much better over time. It all spans back to the updates that are being done. I can't get away from that. I keep thinking about, you know, what other things can I put into this video? What other things can I talk about? And it's all about the constant updates. And I want to reiterate, it's not just skins. It's not just the ships. It's what they actually bring to the game. Organization play is another thing that keeps me coming back again and again. And it's quite clear that Star Citizen are, again, I have to refer back to CitizenCon and the 1.0 thing. Sorry, I know you guys have already had enough of a CitizenCon. It's an MMO, right? Massive multiplayer game, and one of the things about the MMOs is that it's loads of people coming together to play the same game, right? Now, the difference between this MMO is that it's going to require organizations to actually exist. Again, this is how I see Star Citizen changing the way that we are playing games a little bit as well, because it's not just massively multiplayer game. To me, usually means things like guild wars, battling and doing the single player missions. You either play with bots, or you have to make friends in or people in your own guild that have come together to play these particular missions. Well, in this MMO, you're still having to put together a guild, but that guild will then be required all the time. It's not just the coming together for one little mission. It's the constant playing within that sort of org arena, I want to say. So we were talking the org and the peeps from the org a while ago, talking about we are going to need almost 24/7 people looking after the base, essentially, because otherwise, if you get attacked in this game, it could mean that you lose your entire base and, you know, ground operations, resources, and all that sort of stuff. So you will literally lose everything, you know. So you do need that participation from the org members to actually keep an eye on that sort of stuff. And all of your gameplay, like, I'm a logistics guy, so my role in the organization for 1.0, 4.0 beyond will be to gather resources for the organization to utilize in building that bigger base and creating that end game, you know. And in current MMOs, guild wars and things like that, yes, you have a guild so you can actually play with your friends, but it's not that kind of jump in, jump out. You know, you don't massively need to have organization skills with this thing. You don't necessarily need a date and a time to actually get together with people, and you don't, there's no like big goal or reason for actually the organization even being there, really, a lot of the time. So there is that difference as well. In the organizations, you're almost required to have an organization to actually play the game. And I guess that's one of my kind of worries, is that it's going to push away the solo players. But then, number one, solo players have got Citizen 42, Squadron 42 to play, Plus, if they did actually want to play solo and their end game is for themselves to build a base or something along those lines, it can be done, but it will take a lot longer. Or if you just want to have a little shack somewhere, you know, fine, that can be done, not a problem. But it's just going to take longer, essentially. And that may appeal to some people. It may not. At the end of the day, Star Citizen is what you make of it, and it is a sandbox. So as long as we are given the tools to actually play within that sandbox, then why not? I've had a lot of fun over the years playing with this game. I say over the years, I've only been playing for like 2.5 years or something like that. Maybe it's coming up to 3 years now. But the way that I play this game is that sometimes I'll play on my own. So I will have that, you know, my own time playing, you know, maybe streaming and talking about what I'm actually doing and things like that. And then some of the time I'll play with the organization. So I will be, yeah, actively going on to missions and with the org and playing with them and for the common goal, you know. Either we will decide we want to go out and do Vaughn missions and try and get loads of Weaver eggs and things like that, and then sometimes it can be about just gathering, I want to say gathering resources like RMC and stuff like that, and just making a bit of money. So we're all going out in bunches to salvage and bounties, and then kind of scraping what's ever found. So yeah, again, organization play, but also single player is really fun. That's what I keep doing. The other thing that is quite different with Star Citizen is the global events. Now, other games have global events, but it's the same gameplay, you know. But with the Star Citizen ones, there can be some really different ways of actually playing. Like they'll build mechanics and then you play this event to actually play with those new mechanics. So it gets new players interested. That's another thing as well. It's not just, these are the ships that we have on the pledge store, and any new players can then go on and buy them, right? Fine. That is totally what they do, and I'm sure that is part of the goal, to actually sell as many ships as they can. But they also do this CCU thing, and it's weird to me that they are letting their players get some pretty hefty discounts on ships and stuff. It's bizarre. Like the Polaris, for instance, when it came out, or like even now, if you want a Polaris, you can go and get one, but it will cost you something like £700 for the benefit. That's coming in IAE, which is awesome, right? Flyable ship, flyable multi-crew ship. We'll get to that in a sec. But then you can also do this CCU game and upgrade your current ship and upgrade it and upgrade it and upgrade it to loads of different levels, perhaps. But in the end, you actually spend nowhere near as much for the actual ship. There's someone in my organization who said they've got a Polaris, and once they finish their chain, their CCU chain, they will have saved 60%. Yeah, that's over half for a Polaris. So they've spent, what, like £300 on a Polaris, which is usually £700. That's crazy. I don't know any other game that says, yeah, you can have these big ships, you can have these really big perks, but we can give you some hefty savings on it, you know? Now, to my mind, if Star Citizen, if CIG was all about just making the money, they wouldn't do CCU game. What would be what's the point? So they draw people in by giving these potential discounts, and it's one of the things that keep people coming back, and likewise it's one of the things that keep people arguing as well, because they're like, oh, I've spent another $1,000 on this ship that doesn't even exist, you know, we're paying for JPEGs and pixels and all that sort of stuff. Well, you are, that's what you're invested into in the game. And it is I say investment, it is almost an investment as well. I've got a son, which I hope at some point he'd like to play this game, and when he does, I'm gonna have an account on here with some really cool ships, really, that he can then play for years to come, because CIG aren't going anywhere as far as I can see. They'll always make more money, new ships and things like that. So yeah, why not? But yeah, the CCUs, they do keep people coming back, because it is that sort of, oh, I can get a really good discount on this stuff, and then, you know, 6 months down the line, they've spent £500, £600, maybe obviously on ships that will cost significantly, or will give them significant savings and things like that, but they are still spending that £500 for a JPEG, effectively. So it is very clever. It is a very clever system, and it is one of the things that I keep going back for, because I do like the new ships. You know, what's next? I like playing. I love playing Star Citizen anyway. I'm not gonna put it down anytime soon. And with this new gameplay, obviously I can make new content as well. So why not? Okay, line up the shot. I was waiting to throw it at her head. Oh well. So yes, CIG are also putting together face-to-face events as well, like CitizenCon that we've just had, and they get on stage, loads of speakers, this is what we're doing, loads of pretty sort of pictures and awesome videos and things like that, and their marketing team is incredible, right? I want to say they make the game look amazing. It does look amazing. It is really good, but they go to a whole new level, and it's really, really clever. And I don't know whether they're doing images from the game or using the in-game, you know, engine to put together these pictures and videos and stuff like that. It's quite amazing. But anyway, yes, the face-to-face events also put a lot of, not pressure, it is almost pressure, on those people purchasing the game and wanting to play the game. Again, because it delivers on expectations. It feeds on the hopium and copium of what people bring to the table. You know, all Star Citizen CIG, sorry, has said that they're going to do this, that, and the other. So wow, that's going to be awesome. When's that coming out? Oh, that's coming out soon. Ha ha ha. They're going to take ages on it, but we've seen stuff. We've seen, you know, we've seen these things appear in game. They happen. It just takes a while to actually get them in game. So yeah, sorry, I was talking about these face-to-face events. Bar citizens, they feed on individuals actually wanting to come together with other players to talk about the game, to build friendships and relationships and things like that with fellow players. You don't see Fortnite doing that, you know. Like, as much as the Star Wars franchise is huge, I never once heard about a Star Wars Galaxies, you know, convention just talking about the game, you know, what's coming soon. Everything's so hidden under the hat, hidden under the hood almost, of what we're going to bring out next. Whereas for the most part, CIG are very, we want to do this. There's forums, there's the inside citizen, inside Star Citizens, there's these conventions where you can actually see what's coming. Yeah, so there are all of these like out of game events, and it also makes me want to put together my own little meetings and stuff like that. I was down in south of England, no, southwest, yeah, southwest of England, visiting relatives, my partner's relatives, and one of the guys from the org was around, you know, he lives that sort of way, and it was then just a really good opportunity to kind of go and meet with these like-minded people, you know. So yeah, the premise of meeting people is also a really big thing that people rely on, and we've got people in the org who wouldn't usually like just go out of the way and make friends and things like that, and it's a really good opportunity for everyone to get together and make friends. Really, it's just a hobby. It totally is. It's one of those things where you spend your time doing it, you get fun out of it, you talk about it passionately, and you spend money on it. There are hobbies out there where people pay thousands of pounds, and I see Star Citizen being no different at all, because you still have to spend money to go to these places, to buy the ships and things like that. So it's no different to a hobby. So all of those people saying, oh, you're crazy, you spent this much, you spent that much, it's a hobby, you know. I get joy out of it. This is what I like to do on a daily basis in my free time, playing a game that I love with friends and having a good time. And if I spend money doing it, that's my hobby, you know. I think really that is the core of why I play Star Citizen still. It is a hobby for me. Tell me, why do you play Star Citizen? What is it that keeps bringing you back? What drives your gameplay? Is it a hobby? I don't have any regrets putting this money into Star Citizen, because I can still play it, and as long as they are updating it, I'm happy. As long as they're working on it and I can see change, that's awesome. Pop in the comments below what you think, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Laters.